Let's just take the journalism cap off for a minute here and go with Hellraiser kicks ass, plain and simple. The new movie coming out on Hulu on October 7th is not exactly a remake, it's not exactly a requel, it is sort of just another Hellraiser story. And so it comes from David Bruckner as the director, and it comes from screenwriters Ben Collins and Luke Piotrowski. And it has Clive Barker's involvement in it, and the movie is so refreshing and just so well done as a Hellraiser movie. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the first three Hellraiser movies coming in this box set. Hellraiser 2022, as I'm going to call it, I think fits in probably as the third best movie in the series because it just does what we want out of a Hellraiser movie so well. It stars Odessa Azion, Jamie Clayton, Adam Faison, Drew Starkey, and Goran Visnik as the main cast here, and then we've got other people playing the Cenobites and other people surrounding the story. But those are the main stars here. And what you're really here for is to see the Cenobites once again and see what a new sort of creative vision gives us with the Cenobites. And so we'll just start off with the big point from the movie. Jamie Clayton is absolutely amazing as Pinhead in this movie. She runs with the role and she makes it her own. It's not just a Doug Bradley sort of emulation kind of deal here. She is completely different than that version of Pinhead that we've seen previously. It is more reminiscent of the Pinhead of the first two movies, especially that first movie. And the Cenobites in general really remind me of the Cenobites from the first movie here, where they are scary, they are sort of horror icons, but at the end of the day, they're not the villains of Hellraiser. And the Cenobites here are scary, they're threatening, they're violent, they're frightening, but they're not the villains here. Goran Visnik's Voight is the villain of the film. He is sort of this businessman. He reminds me a lot of Dr. Channard from Hellraiser, or Hellbound Hellraiser 2, where he wants the powers and everything of the Cenobites. He is sort of obsessed with them and the lament configuration, and he wants their approval, he wants their adulation basically here, and he's running the whole film here to try to get what he wants. That really is sort of the low point of Hellraiser. It is, his motivations other than that are really not clear, and the performance that he gives is good, but he's just not in the movie enough, and the film doesn't really give you a lot to work with when it comes to like, oh, that's the villain and that's kind of it. It gets the Cenobites right, but it doesn't get the villain quite right. And there's also a twist in the movie that is very, very easy to see coming, that you will see coming, but it sort of works, it sort of gets the plot going, but it's very bare minimum of what we want out of a horror movie, and especially what we want out of a Hellraiser movie. Comparing him to Frank from the first film, there's no comparison. That's really the good part about Hellraiser, is that they just didn't try to remake the first movie, because that would have fallen on deaf ears, it would have fallen flat. But you get a villain here who is sort of like a C-, a C. He's not really amazing, but he's not horrible either. He gets the job done. However, Odessa in the film as Riley is very good. She's very charismatic. She's very sort of vulnerable, and you really feel for her as you watch the movie because she puts on such a great performance, and she really plays this sort of tortured character so well. Outside of that, her friends that she meets along the way are just kind of there. They're I don't want to say that they're there just to die, because they kind of are, but the performances that the actors give are they verge from, decent to pretty good, but they're just kind of there. So if you're looking for some supporting actors or supporting cast that does more than what you would want, you're not really going to get it here with this movie. But this movie is all about the Cenobites. It's all about the main character, Riley. It's all about her boyfriend, Trevor, who does also a good job in the performance. As for the Cenobites, they are very, very, very cool looking in this film. You can see them here, where the costumes, they're not wearing like the leather and everything like the original Cenobites do. The costumes are more made of their own flesh and their muscle sinew and tearing and all of that and pulling on. It's very grotesque, and it's very awesome to see. And so the costumes are all practical. They all they're mostly practical, like you can obviously see in Pinhead that there's some CGI there, but it's mostly practical, and the actors are in suits. They had to lube them up to get them into the suits. So you have a lot of great effects going on here. You have a lot of heart and soul and love put into this movie. And that's really what shines throughout Hellraiser. This is coming from people that love the original movies. They love the series. They want to see this series do well. They want to see a good movie made. They don't want to see direct-to-video crap that's getting shoveled out being made in 2 weeks to try to keep the film license. There was a lot of love and care put into this, and it shines through in the original, in the final product. As for what we're going to get next, we could get a sequel, hopefully. It is coming out only on Hulu. It's not coming out theatrically, so make sure you go and watch it on Hulu and decide for yourself and get those viewership numbers up, because we want to get more films in the Hellraiser series, because it does set up for a sequel here with the ending of it. But the Cenobites are awesome. Jamie Clayton is awesome. Hellraiser, if I'm going to give it a grade, I gave it a 93 out of 100 in the written review. It is one of the best in the series. It probably slots in as the second or the third best in the series, depending on what you like. I love the first two. They kind of go together. But this one doesn't go as deep into that sort of mythos and lore that you get in those first two movies, especially the second movie, with everything that goes on into Hell and the Leviathan and all that. You get to see the Leviathan sort of here, but you don't really get to visit Hell. So maybe in the second one we'll get to visit Hell based on the ending, who knows. But the Cenobites here, the new ones are great. The mask is awesome. The Chatterer is there. You get to see a Cenobite die, which is really cool. That scene's very awesome in particular, where you get to see something happen to basically what amounts to a pain, pleasure god. And just, they're awesome. The Cenobites are great. The villain, well, subpar, fits the job that he needs to do here. But this is really all about the Cenobites. So, what do you think of Hellraiser? Are you excited to watch it? Make sure to check it out on Hulu on October 7th. Only on Hulu. It's coming out on Disney Plus or on Star or whatever later on in Europe. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry, you're not going to get to watch it right away. But that sucks. In the US, we'll get to watch it on Hulu. So check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. And thank you for watching. And look out for Pinhead, because they might get you in Hellraiser. Thanks for watching.